What's going on, gamers? We got an interesting video here to cover, or a clip from Satya. Yeah, that's right. You see what I mean? There's a lot of talking coming out of the Xbox world again, and now from the Microsoft chairman himself, admitting some things that probably were right that a lot of people tried to debunk, and that is Microsoft going to put ads in video games, and are they going to monetize you even more? Yes, they are. He admitted some things that when it comes to subsidizing, it's time to end this now. No more subsidizing. Remember, Steam said they're not going to subsidize. PlayStation wasn't really subsidizing. Nintendo's the only one left who's kind of subsidizing. Because I tell you what, with the way this market is right now, that $50 price increase for Nintendo Switch 2 was not enough. But Nintendo knows that how early they are and how much they rely on the Switch 2 success, they can't afford to put it up $100. It's already too much at that price. So they kind of have to subsidize a bit. I thought they should have subsidized all the way till January, even though they're subsidizing all the way to September, and then they're going to have another subsidizing aspect because this market is just ridiculous. In this video here, Satya admits he's done subsidizing and that now it's time to make profit off of the consumer base. We need to turn everything into a profit. You think he's thinking about exclusives? Of course he wants to give Asha some control, but I think if you're thinking about not subsidizing anymore, why would you put a $400 million budget game only on Xbox and PC? And I want you guys to think about this too. Somebody told me something interesting in the comments of the last video about Gears of War that I thought was interesting. He says, they're saying 400 million, plus you got to advertise for commercials, which costs money too. What about how much it costs to make the PlayStation 5 port? Guys, are we thinking about this? That's why I think, and we've read it too, the PlayStation 5 data and finished version was not deleted. I think you still want that 200 million from PlayStation if you have a chance to do it down the line. And you're going to be like, look, guys, we can't do it. I'm telling you, it feels like a 4-game situation. Like, you just can't trust anything this company says as if it's going to be permanent and true. They always change their mind all the time. So right here, Satya says Xbox must end 25-year entertainment subsidy. We're done subsidizing. It's over. They're not going to be investing for you anymore and giving you deals. It's time to make money. They're tired of doing it. And they have so much money, they were able to do that. And I was trying to tell people for a long time. We're going to take a look at this clip, guys. Try to tell people for a long time that Microsoft was paying to cover their failures in the Xbox division. And they've been doing it for quite some time. And that anybody else would have been gone. That's why I said Sega. Imagine if Sega had the Microsoft money pool. They would have never left the console industry. They would have been totally fine. They're way better than Microsoft at gaming. But they didn't have that corporate money pool outside of the gaming sphere. That's why I said, if you think about the choices Microsoft made, nobody is surviving. They're only around because they have a whole bunch of money. Point blank, period. So speaking at the New York Times Hard Folk podcast on June 12th, which was yesterday, Microsoft CEO Satya admitted the company has subsidized Xbox entertainment and must make it sustainable. No more subsidizing, guys. You ain't getting no price drops on that hardware. Try to tell you. Even joking that YouTube monetizes their games better. Meaning they're making more money on YouTube than what they're doing because they're subsidizing so much. This comes during the Xbox's reset under the new CEO, Asha Sharma, who flagged over 20 billion spent in 5 years amid failing revenue. He's also admitting that Gamepass is a failure. You've been subsidizing the whole time. I've been trying to tell people this, but you have these Xbox fanboys sitting here trying to tell you, oh, Gamepass is doing this, it's making this money. No, it's not. You're being lied to. It was all subsidizing. That's why they had to go multi-platform, because it was so bad. It ain't like PlayStation Plus and Extra and Premium, which are only on PlayStation, but Sony's making a killing. Nintendo Switch Online is making a killing. They ain't even jacked it up past $20, except the expansion, which is $50. Because that's the expansion pack online with 64 and all the other stuff. So you think about these two models that are being sustained. I'm telling you, Game Pass was never sustainable. He just told you that Game Pass failed and that it was a sinkhole. Game over. 20 billion spent, not even the 70 billion Activision. Do you know how much of a sinkhole Xbox is in? And how are they going to turn that around? Get ready for ads, get ready for monetizations, get ready for all other sorts of things that you're not going to like, because that's what's going to take. And if you can't see that at this point now, after what he just said, I don't know what to tell you. We're going to see the clip. So with recent quarters showing gaming down 7% to 5.3 billion, the strategy hinges on big budget exclusives like Gears of War E-Day, a 400 million prequel launching on October 6th. That should have been on PlayStation. How you gonna make that money back? I'm telling you, watch them still do it. If not, okay, they're sticking to their word. That's not bad that you're not lying, but I still think you're trapping yourself and you consistently do that. On Xbox Series X, S, PC, Steam, and Game Pass, though, fans debate if such spins demand wider platforms. Yeah, you need to have a Switch 2 version, you need to have a PlayStation version. So let's get to this clip right here and see what Satya has to say. Are we ready? Here it is right here.
The leaders of the Xbox division put out a memo today saying that we should expect a hard reset of Xbox coming soon. They said that there are massive increases in the prices of components and that Xbox might need a new business model. So as a big gamer who's enjoyed many happy hours on Xbox, Satya, I have to ask, what is your strategy for Xbox?
The challenge now for us is to think about how do you innovate both in hardware as well as in the games going forward in a world, in an economically viable way, right? I think one of the things that Asha, who's just taken over Xbox, put out is that we've invested a lot. No one can accuse Microsoft of not having invested
way too much
for the last 25 years. And now we have to turn this into a sustainable business that delivers what is fundamentally one of the best sources of entertainment still.
Did you hear what he just said? We've been subsidizing, monopolizing too. Now we have to turn this into a sustainable business. Game Pass was never sustainable. Xbox fanboys, can you get it? Because I remember even in those days last year when I was trying to tell people that, they were getting mad. And they were wrong the whole entire time. AGN was trying to tell them. I said, it's not sustainable because you're not deducting the cost of these games to be day one on Game Pass. First party games, how much you're spending to get third party day one games on Game Pass. They were just telling you that it's doing this. And they said revenue. They didn't say profit because it wasn't profitable. That's why I try to tell you, they were hiding all that from you. Now I respect Satya for coming out and actually admitting it. I respect what Matthew Barr said. I respect what Asha's saying, because you have to now. And you realize this is the best thing to do now is let's just be honest now. Here's the real truth. And if you're still going to argue and think that Game Pass was sustainable this whole time, then I do not have any hope for your brain in any fields of life, because you can't even understand a simple answer that he just gave in front of you. The AGN has been telling you for over a year plus that Game Pass is not sustainable. And you had all these people coming in trying to defend that. And I think some of them knew that it wasn't, but they were playing this game. And I was trying to say it for a long time that it was not. It's a sinkhole. People were getting mad at me. I'm like, no, man. PlayStation Plus is sustainable, extra, premium. Nintendo Switch Online is sustainable. It's crazy, right? But Xbox Game Pass was never sustainable. And the funny thing is, they didn't only have it on Xbox, they had to put it on PC, and they had to put it on mobile, and it still wasn't sustainable. Man, when you really think about this, I think you need to understand how bad that is. Because PlayStation Plus, extra, and premium are only on PlayStation. Nintendo Switch Online is only on Nintendo Switch. But Game Pass was on all of PC, all that fake monthly active users. I told you that stuff is fake. 500 million, man, shut up. You're fake. All that stuff on mobile, look how huge mobile is. Trying to put it on the TVs, you see what I mean? Sinkhole, because nobody wanted it like you thought they would. A lot of people do not like the Xbox brand unless you're in America. I'm telling you, it is went down so bad, it's not even funny. And the methods that Microsoft does, it's like, the reason why is because gaming is not Netflix. It's different. The most successful stuff in the world is still non-subscription oriented. Though people like the subscriptions and stuff because you got to charge for online to come with it. But if I'm telling you, if you removed the online paywall, you would be surprised at the drop off of PlayStation Plus. Nintendo Switch Online is not too bad because it's only $20 a month. But because you need that, it's different. Most people still want to own their games. Most people are attached to the profiles and the stuff they own. You don't own anything on a subscription service. But when it comes to your library, you see what I mean? That you have to carry over. Even Phil Spencer admitted it. When we lost the Xbox One carryover, it was this generation was already over. Sony won. They had 118 million install base, or 117 million. And Xbox One was 58. But even then, not that many people stayed around in the long term. And look at the series. It's even less. Like half of that. You see? Or something like that. And the Nintendo Switch was 154, 155 million by the time I did that. They're like 157 million now. But think about that digital carryover. That's how you knew the conversion to the Switch 2 was an automatic victory. People had to realize this. So how do you turn this into a sustainable business now? PlayStation 5, Switch 2, PC Steam, PC Xbox, and the console. Do not think that it's going to be more exclusives to do this. How, man? Look at the Gears of War situation, 400 million. Look at the Clockwork situation. I'm just reading this game costs 500 million. Why does that game cost 500 million? What? When you look at other IPs, you say, man, I will easily choose this. Ghost of Yotei looks way more appealing than that game. And Ghost of Yotei is under 100 million budget. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Think about those games. I guarantee you they're not even 100 million. But yeah, Clockwork is 500 million. Gears of War is 400. What are we doing here? What is going on over here in Western society? Oh my Lord, man, I'm kind of worried. Let's continue.
The challenge we have is we're not been monetizing that entertainment. In fact, if anything, we've been subsidizing that entertainment. In fact, like there's more monetization of Xbox games happening on YouTube than at Microsoft.
And what goes on YouTube to monetize? Ads. We do YouTube. We know this. You make money off of ads. If you're not getting memberships, sponsorships, tips on your channel or on live streams, he's letting you know, I'm about to monetize the hell out of Xbox. I'm about to put ads in video games. It wasn't a lie. It's happening. You had these people trying to defend this once again. But so many times the Xbox fanboys do this. I didn't even get to make the ad video. Dreamcast guy did though, which I thought was funny. But the funny thing is he's letting you know he wants to monetize gaming. I'm done subsidizing for you. We've done this for a while. Now it's time for me to make more money off of you. The $1 trillion corporation. Get ready. Ads are coming. Don't be surprised if Forza starts getting stuff like that. I don't know if it is or not. Gears of War, all of them, they're going to get ads. They're going to start putting ads all in front of you. He's thinking now of the YouTube strategy. How am I going to get this money back? I gave you so much money. Give me back my money. Remember I used to say that in those other videos, Adrian? Give me back my money. That's what he's telling you now. I'm not subsidizing for you anymore. Xbox fanboys. Though I think Gears of War exclusive is a little bit of subsidizing because it cost you $400 million. Not wise. And that you're lying because you're not going to be able to keep that. You're not going to get that money back. Then you're going to say, okay, we got to make a PlayStation port. He's going to be the one to do it.
I mean, can you give us just any more detail? Like when I hear that, I think, okay, so maybe like the Xbox gets way more expensive, the games get way more expensive. Like, is there any sort of like carrot you can offer the gamers?
Like, I think we have to find ways to deliver the games at which it's economically relevant for the customer and for us. So today, there's a issue, in fact, unfortunately, because of what's happening with the cloud and AI, the prices have gone up. Right, it's happening with PCs, it's happening with phones, Xbox is impacted as well. So the scarcity of the semiconductor supply and memory in particular having a massive impact on consumer electronics all up.
And he's saying that, but he's leading the head of Microsoft for AI. He's letting you know how expensive it is. And he's looking at that and he's telling you he's not subsidizing. The Xbox consoles are not going down in price then. And that he's saying how expensive that is and he wants to monetize you. Plus he has to lead AI and he's looking over there at that. Can you guys do the math here? Remember what I've been telling you? It's all about AI feed. So he needs to get all those component price costs that are going to be ridiculous for his data centers. For his cloud computation. For AI feed. He's one of the main guys in the world that has been leading this because Copilot was out before Google Gemini. He's been trying to do that with data centers, Azure, and everything, right? Guys, let's just be intelligent here and think about what he just said. The component costs are crazy. I'm done subsidizing. It's time to monetize. And I know the most important thing for Microsoft is not Xbox hardware. It's AI and Azure and data centers and all that. So what do you think he's really thinking? It's not that they can't have the components, but it's how much more expensive they are now, plus how much money you've subsidized and lost, and how much Gamepass went in the sinkhole, Xbox went in the sinkhole. Everything has went negative, plus the component costs are so high. How do I reverse this? Plus, I know AI is my main thing, 97%, and all of them are AI hires. If you add up all that together, you kind of get the idea here. It's not about Xbox hardware. It's about publishing, monetization, and multi-platform and AI feed. Making more money. Xbox hardware is not gonna make you more money. Barely, no. They even admitted they're still losing money on that. No, just think about it. And that profit is so small. So how do you make all that up? You constantly need as big publishing pool as you could possibly get. Xbox has to be a third-party publisher. It is the correct thing to do. They should have kept on pushing that. They shouldn't have went away from it. I guess if they want to play this little stupid exclusive game, all you're doing is just opening up a Pandora's box and strengthening PlayStation's ideology again. If you're thinking about it from that position, and strengthening Nintendo Switch's ideology more. Though I agree with exclusive, but I'm just saying, I guarantee you the people probably like Alex and them, they were saying that, they probably hated that. I haven't been looking at his channel lately, but I'm saying he probably hated that. And anybody that was thinking about that, because that was a direction that Microsoft had for themselves. But trying to go back to that only handicapped them after seeing that $400 million budget. I'm not saying I'm mad that Gears is exclusive because it's not coming to PlayStation. I'm saying that you're hurting the Gears of War development big time, and you're hurting the developers, and you're hurting your publishing by not putting it on PlayStation. If you cared about Gears of War, you should have not wanted it to be an exclusive, because how are they going to get that money back? You want those developers to be in trouble? You want Gears to flop? Then you don't care about Gears of War. If you want something to be successful, then you care about it. That's why I say it's going to flop, because how the hell, guys, look. 7 times 5 is 35, right? 350 million if you sold 5 million copies, and you're still 50 million behind. What about what it costs to make the PlayStation? You can't just get that money back. You spent that money to make the PlayStation 5 version. What about the marketing? 7 times 7 is 49. That's 490 million. They're going to need something like, you need to sell 7 million copies of Gears of War. No Gears historically ever, even in the 360 days, sold 7 million. Gears of War 2 was the highest selling. It was like 6.6 million copies sold or something. And if you look at the feed on Xbox channel, Gears of War, it did not blow up and have millions and millions of views. And it's around so many games in August, September, and October, and November. And everybody's scared of GTA in November, except those Phantom Blade devs, which I thought was funny. Nintendo ain't worried about them either. Zelda will still sell gangbuster numbers. How is it going to survive around all those games that are going to constantly grab people's attentions? Plus gacha games, free-to-play games, updates. Man, I'm telling you, don't be surprised, man, if it falls off a cliff and then they announce that PS5 version. Because what are you going to do? You're going to sit there and say it's going to be a permanent exclusive and just lose money? And that's not smart business-wise. He's not going to like that if you don't see those results. Grant you.
That's a temporal thing that I think we'll get through. It is not going to be a permanent. But there is a permanent thing, which is what's the Xbox model going forward? And that's where, if you think about it, like PCs and consoles both have their place. Obviously, mobile has, people play elsewhere. And so we have to now bring it all together while staying true to what we've always done.
Yeah, he just made it clear. Like, it's never going to be true exclusives. We need PC and Xbox working together, and mobile. Steam. He didn't want to mention anything about PlayStation, but you know, you already got the idea. The biggest Xbox games this generation are all on PlayStation besides Gears. You put everything else there. So it's not like I didn't want Xbox to have exclusives to be powerful again, but it's like you put yourself in such a position that you trapped yourself and made it impossible to do it. Definitely with the way this market is and how expensive single player games are or multiplayer games are today. It's insane. People can't manage their budgets properly. Nintendo still knows how to do it, but I don't understand how Ghost of Yotei was like 60, 70 million, though I think with marketing all that, it's probably closer to 100 million, but even then, that's very impressive. And look how good that game is. But when you look at something like Gears, how are you 4 times, 5 times the budget of it? Maybe a little bit more. It's all crazy to me. Like, I don't know. Like, guys, I've looked at every angle to see how Xbox can improve. And I think the situation that Asha Sharma's in is even worse than Phil Spencer. It's because it's already so bad. And she walked into a situation, not with gold mines around you to keep on continuing, but how it's like, whoa, this is impossible. Plus the market and the component costs. I kind of feel bad for her in a way. I have compassion towards her. It's not like, guys, I don't have a problem with Asha. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that I understand what she's saying, but it's hard for me to believe anything that she has to say. Of course, she's trying to do what she can. You know, high five to her for taking on that position. I tell you what, you're taking on an impossible job. I mean, look at this situation. It's damn near impossible. So what are we really going to do here? That's what you think about, man. Think of what happens to a lot of things in life when things get so bad. You got to go back to the basics. Yeah, hit that reset button. Of course. I understand that 100%. But I don't know how the hardware could ever recover. I think Xbox publishing can be fine. Xbox development can be fine. Game Pass, I have no idea. I don't know. That could be something they may shut down. You never know. Or say no more day one. You'll be like Sony's PlayStation Plus, an extra. But then if nobody's buying games on Xbox, then you don't have those extra players to say that these many millions of players are playing. Either way, like I said, Microsoft has trapped the Xbox ecosystem in a nightmare. And we're sitting over here figuring out how is it going to recover. I'm just coming here telling you the truth, but it's a nightmare in the Xbox world. So I want you guys to let me know what you think. Become a member, leave a tip down below, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for all the support. Peace out. Love all of you, no matter what platform you play on, for sure. Later, y'all. Sorry. I mean, look, I was going to tell you guys something. In a real world scenario, what I would like, I really wished Xbox would be able to compete and still be alive. Even have Xbox One numbers. But that's not the case, because the more competition to me, the more interesting it gets. But hey, we're just in this situation. Later, y'all. Peace out. Hang in there.